The union representing workers at Trinidad state-owned oil company says no to job cuts and privatization, and in sport calls for the reinstatement of the sacked Soca Warriors head coach. I'm Ricardo Roberts, and this is Caribbean in 10 for Monday, January 16. I'll be back with the details in just a moment.
Get the latest in fashion, parties, and upcoming events for the new year, only on Caribbean Passport. Travel with us and explore the region from a fresh point of view. It's all next on this station. You won't want to miss what we have in store.
I know there are some Burmese, which is why I've used Burma, who say that Myanmar is an imposition by the military and we prefer to call it Burma. So what is politically correct here?
Well, it depends on your definition of politically correct. So the country's official name is the Union of the Republic of Myanmar. But that was changed by the military regime in 1989. The reasons for that were to try and make the country's name more inclusive.
We begin in Trinidad and Tobago, where the union representing workers at state-owned oil company Petrotrin says it won't accept any job cuts and will resist any attempt to privatize the company. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley announced last week, after Petrotrin agreed to pay a 5% pay increase to avoid a 90-day strike, that the company had to be restructured in order to survive. But breaking his silence following that address, President General of the OWTU, Ansel Roger, is making it clear the union won't accept anything that will disadvantage the workers.
We are not going to accept any job cuts in Petrotrin, none whatsoever.
That's union boss Ansel Roger in response to the January 11th address by the Prime Minister. But that's not all.
Nobody will be allowed to take away Petrotrin from the hands of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. When you put it in private hands, it goes to the pockets and the bank accounts of the private interests.
It's not that Mr. Roger disputes the $1.2 billion debt owed by Petrotrin, but he says the company has turned over $15.9 billion to the state over the years. And he says Petrotrin is not the only debtor.
In times gone by, Petrotrin would have been owed billions of dollars. At one time, it went up to about $7 billion in subsidies that Petrotrin was not compensated for. But because Petrotrin produced products for the country, Petrotrin was owed by the government.
And before the government looks to the lucrative proposals of private investors, the OWTU is challenging the government to consider the union's strategic plan to subdivide the company into more manageable segments.
And that report from Muvashi Tawari Rupnarayan of CNC3 News. Still in the Twin Island Republic, Angostura Holdings Limited says it will appoint a 3-member committee to probe an allegation of sexual harassment against its chairman, Dr. Ralph Balgobin. Balgobin, a former independent legislator and president of the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association, has denied the claim. In November 2016, the senior female executive filed a police report alleging sexual advances by the chairman. That same month, the employee filed a whistleblower complaint through her lawyer with the Audit Committee of Angostura and the board of its parent company, CL Financial Limited. According to a statement issued by the company, the board of directors has unanimously agreed to having a committee carry out an impartial investigation into the allegation. Barbados's opposition Mia Mottley is demanding answers from the Fundell Stewart administration on the current state of the economy. Last week, the Caribbean Information and Credit Rating Services Limited, CARICRIS, became the latest agency to downgrade the island's economy. And leader Mottley told a weekend news conference that the silence of the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance is hurting business.
Is an IMF austerity program on the cards for Barbados? 2, why, in spite of assurances from the Minister of Finance that the economy had turned the bend, as he told us last year, why has the economy continued to fail to meet targets for economic growth and for deficit and debt reduction? 3, why is it that in spite of the celebrated increase in tourism arrivals by the Minister of Tourism, and with the fall in oil prices generally in the last 3 years, our foreign reserves have continued to decline steadily, to the point where at December 31st, 2016, less than 2 weeks ago, they fell to a 20-year low.
The Jamaica Federation of Corrections, JFC, is not happy about the government's decision to reject Britain's offer to build a maximum security prison in the island, and it wants to know what's the next move, considering the infrastructure at the island's 2 maximum security prisons is falling apart and posing a risk to correctional officers and inmates. Speaking on a radio program over the weekend, JFC Chairman Arlington Turner lamented that the Tower Street Adult Correctional Center, which was built to house 650 inmates, now has more than 1,700 inmates. And he wants the Andrew Holness government to say what solution it has to the problem, since it didn't take up London on its offer. During a trip to Jamaica in 2015, when the People's National Party was in office, the then British Prime Minister David Cameron offered to spend 25 million sterling on building a new penal institution. But last Friday, Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith told legislators that the terms the UK provided are not beneficial to the country as a whole, so the Jamaica Labour Party administration rejected the offer. Stay with us. Your Midday Sport is next.
Grow your business or promote your event through the services offered by the Caribbean Media Corporation and CaribVision. Our distribution provides a platform on cable, terrestrial television, and websites. We cover carnivals and events from across the region. We can bring your event live and alive to the world. For music makers, program producers, businesses, we can expand your reach to in excess of 2 million households daily. Our other services include news updates to enhance your media products, studio space for program and development. We can facilitate the launch of new products and services and training. Contact us and we will help you unleash your creative ability, develop products and services, and provide the medium to watch them grow. Contact Loretta Skeet at cmccaribbean.com or call her 1-246-467-1044 or 1-246-253-3889. Call and book your carnival or event today.
Less than 2 months after Stephen Hart's sacking as national coach, Trinidad and Tobago's men's senior squad want him reinstated. In a shocking development, Hart has emerged as the squad's favorite to take over following the dramatic resignation of his replacement Belgian Tom Saintfiet last Tuesday after just 5 weeks and 4 games in charge. Speaking on behalf of a group of 23 national players, spokesman Jean-Michael Williams said they had been at fault for Hart's sacking last November and should have taken more responsibility for their own game. Without a head coach 2 months before the next round of World Cup qualifiers, the players also sent a letter to the TTFA with their suggestions for a replacement. Hart tops the list that also comprises W Connection steward Charles Fevrier, former England defender and experienced Terry Fenwick, and former national player and local coach Angus Eve. Hart was sacked by the local Football Association last November after 3 years in charge, following TNT's poor start to the CONCACAF qualifying round of the 2018 World Cup in Russia. That's Caribbean in 10. Good afternoon.